Alright, so I continued from the last section and just created a few more cameras, a few more shots, and tried to experiment with different views and stuff. So here's a nice little top view, top down, and I tried to get some God rays shining through there. And I tried to do some that were really tightly cropped in, so telephoto type lens. And you can get all these settings by just hitting Control Shift V with the camera selected, and then you can play with that focal length to get, either telephoto or fisheye. And then I also tried parenting cameras to the ships like we did in the last video. You can also play with the depth of field and make it really, really low. So you can adjust that with the f-stop. So if you bring the f-stop down to like 0.01, zero 0.1, it'll get really, really blurry in the background. So yeah, I was really just experimenting with all these camera settings, setting up different shots, making little really basic animations like what we were doing before. And it's really awesome. We have this crazy technology where we can see all this and play with it in real time, and it really feels like you're in a playground, just messing with all this. So yeah, just put on your little Steven Spielberg cap and have fun with it. Um, One tiny technical issue I ran into was with the green blinking lights that are attached to the ships. So these blinking lights weren't casting the correct shadows, and I read in a thread that a light that's inside of a collection will not cast the proper shadows. So I had to remove the light from the ship collection and place it into the main scene collection or into any other collection, and that way the lights would be normal regular lights and not instanced collection instanced light. So with a normal light, I just had to manually place it where it's supposed to be and then manually parent it to that ship instance by selecting the light and then the ship and then Control P to parent it, and that way that light would follow the ship around wherever it went. So that's the only issue I ran into, but other than that, I think it was all good to go. Okay, and before we go, I forgot to actually show you how to save your render. So that would be good. Let's go down to the output tab right here, make sure we're at 100% now, and I'm inside this little folder structure here. I'll show you what it looks like. Click on the file. It says, here's our main folder with my model, where my model file lives, and then inside that there's a folder called anim for animations, and this is where I save my finished movies like MP4 files or AVI files or whatever. And then inside that there's a folder called frames, and this is for all of our raw frames. So in this case I just have a bunch of JPEGs here. So anim, frames, here's all my JPEGs. And we're going to render out in JPEGs because, and the benefit of this method versus just saving straight to a movie file is that if anything crashes or if we have any render glitches or any problems, we can identify at what frame does that problem happen, or at what frame does that crash happen, because you'll see in your frames that it just stops rendering at that point. Like let's say it stopped rendering at this frame, and then the rest will be gone. So then then you can restart your render there from that frame on. So it's just a little bit safer to render this way. And then when you're done with all your frames, you can just right click them and open with I have a program here called DJV underscore view, and this program lets you just watch a bunch of JPEGs in a little movie like this, or you can just bring it into your favorite editing program. Like you can even edit this in Blender if you wanted by just you could, let's say, open up a new scene here. Bet you didn't know Blender had a video editor, did ya? Did ya? So here we're going over to the video editing tab, then you can go Shift A to add in a image sequence, and then we're going over here, anim, frames, And then just hit A to select all of your frames, and then enter. And there it is. Here's your entire movie right here. You can press period to play it. But yeah, and I use DaVinci Resolve for video editing, but yeah, you can use any program for that. Okay, and I think that's it. So once you've got this file path set up, then you can just say choose your format here. I got JPEG, and then go render animation. And I'm not going to click that because I already rendered. But anyway, that's it.